Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Today, you're going to meet two local pros. One has made his mark as a golf instructor, and the other, he's a pretty good player. The 27th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf, the First Tee of Greater Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, and Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
When you vacation in Montgomery County, PA, your money worries get a vacation too.
Oh, you gotta get your value.
Feel free to explore the soldiers' huts.
Free?
$4, that's it? Keep the lettuce coming, Diane.
Parking is free!
Hey, it's free!
With so many affordable things in Montgomery County, go ahead. Freak out.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues as we introduce you to Steve Sieracki. Steve is the Director of Instruction here at the Legacy Club at Woodcrest in Cherry Hill, Haddonfield,
Cherry
whatever you
Hill.
want to call it over here in South Jersey. You're a local guy, right,
Yes.
Steve?
Yeah, grew up in Cherry Hill.
Went to Bishop Eustace High School, spent, a year at Arizona State?
Correct, and then went to LaSalle.
And finished at LaSalle. You know, we were talking a little bit before we started this interview. Was there a crossroads in your career where you decided, you know what, I'd love to be a competitive professional golfer. I also really enjoy giving instruction. Yep. When did that happen, and how did it all play out?
I would say really towards the beginning to middle part at LaSalle. You know, I always loved to play and practice. And towards that time is when I really wanted to start teaching. I started actually helping more kids out on the team than actually working on my own game, was filming their swings as well as mine. And really, it just had a passion for helping others play better, more so than my own game.
Yeah, well, you've been honored for doing just that. You've been named Golf Digest one of the top under 40 teachers. I assume you're still under 40?
I am, yes, yep.
Philadelphia section gave you an award for youth player development, and you've worked with some top 50 teachers. Mike Bennett and Andy Plummer are two guys you're still pretty close with.
Very close with them,
They have tour guys, senior tour, or champions tour, regular tour. Right. So you've been exposed to a lot of different ways of teaching people how to play golf. What, in your years of doing it, what's the most important thing?
I would say really from professional level to amateurs, controlling where the club hits the ground, controlling the low point, hitting the ball, in the center of the club face would be the first task of gaining entry into this game.
And then after that, if you can master that?
I would say there'd be three fundamentals, controlling where the club hits the ground, hitting the ball far enough to reach all the holes in regulation, and then controlling the curve of the ball, knowing that there's a pattern of shots. Those would be the way I would
on that first one, controlling where the club hits the ground. What is the most important thing? Is it in the hands? Is it the manipulating the hands? Is it the arms? Combination of both?
I would say it's a combination of both, but if we're going to put it in the hierarchy of order, I would say the first would be, where your weight is, where the center of your hips are, where the center of your shoulders are at impact. If you're moving all around or moving too far to the right, that'd make it more complicated. And then the second part would be, you could say a little bit of your grip, but the radius, the arm and the shaft would make a radius. And then if the circumference widens too fast, that would make the bottom of the swing behind the ball. So those would be the two key parts.
I've often heard it said that no two swings are alike when it comes to the game of golf, regardless of how good you are. Even among pros, tour pros, club pros, highly skilled amateurs or just beginners? I mean, the swing is like, it's you. It's not, you don't try to emulate somebody else. And how, as a teacher, do you find the right swing? And hey, don't try thinking you're going to do it. I mean, who teaches golf the way Scotty Scheffler plays it, with his feet moving all around and
Right.
things like that?
Well, you can pick out a lot of those parts, though, you know, of what Scotty's really good at, and you could pick out, you know, some parts that, you know, your typical lesson doesn't do, and you could start to see differences there. So I would say the better players are actually more similar than they are different, especially when you're comparing them to a mid to high level handicap. And once you can start to see those differences, then it becomes easier to start breaking down how to teach.
You mentioned to me probably one of the early influencers in your life when it came to teaching was Mac O'Grady. Now, a lot of our viewers probably don't remember Mac O'Grady when he was a player.
Yep.
They may have heard about him, but he turned into a teacher to a lot of big name guys on tour.
Right, and he actually has a lot of his teaching and his tree have really come from Mac, and really who got me introduced to Mac was Dave Quinn. Dave helped me out when I was a little kid teaching. He brought me to a Mac O'Grady school, and it's through Mac how I met Mike Bennett and Andy Plummer. I think if there's anything you could take from him would be, you know, you start to, when you look at pictures and a lot of different golfers, you start to see patterns of players. And then once you can see those patterns, then it makes it easier to start teaching and break it down and explain it to your students.
Right. Talking about taking a look at your swing, now you can do a lot more than just look at your swing. You give lessons here at the Legacy Club on a regular basis. You have an iPad, I guess, and you have the TrackMan technology.
We do in our
so many
simulator,
things.
yeah. Yes.
What, is it almost a must now for somebody that wants to improve their game to be exposed to somebody like yourself who's constantly updating the technology to help these people get better?
I would say yes, because it's a communication tool. It makes it much easier of a process if you have you don't need all the technology, you really don't, but if you can at least have some of it and use it as a communication tool to get your point across to the student, I think it just helps. It helps them than just verbally having a conversation. You can have a conversation, you can show them the pictures, and if you can also demonstrate it too, there's 3 different ways that somebody could learn.
Would you prefer dealing with somebody who knows very little about the game when they come to you to be instructed versus a 2 handicap?
Honestly, I don't. As long as they want to practice and get better, I really don't. It doesn't matter to me what their skill level is.
Is it easier to deal with a beginner?
I would say it's actually more challenging to deal with a beginner because
because there's a lot of parts you have to explain.
You know, they might not know how to move their body all around, so you have to go through the tilts and the bends. Whereas, you know, you teach somebody on the tour. I mean, they can already shoot 65. I mean, they're much easier to teach than someone who's just getting introduced into the game.
His name is Steve Sieracki. How would you, what's the best way people who are watching can get in touch with you?
My website, SierackiGolf.com, and anyone can really go there and sign up to practice.
And you're here all the time?
I'm here at the Legacy Club all the time.
Almost 24/7, huh? You have to go home to the family once in a while?
It definitely feels that way at times. It's a great spot. I love it here. They're making phenomenal changes to the course with the new owners. Steve
Sieracki is his name. He's already been recognized by Golf Digest, Philadelphia section of the PGA, for what he can do to help you become a good player. Steve?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, you'll meet a second-generation Philadelphia area pro who hopes to be going to his second PGA Championship this year.
Hi, Tony Salucci with the Beacon Group of Companies. If your company has between 50 and 500 employees enrolled in your health insurance plan, there's a really good chance we can reduce your costs significantly and increase the benefits employees receive. How do we do it? We put you together with several thousand employers of a similar size across the country so your company can get amazing buying power. Schedule a conversation with one of our employee benefits specialists today at mybeacongroup.com.
The Golf Association of Philadelphia. Founded in 1897, GAP is the nation's oldest regional or state golf association. We serve amateur golf in Eastern PA, Southern New Jersey, and all of Delaware. Gap welcomes all golfers, junior or senior, male or female, public or private. Join the Golf Association of Philadelphia today. Our mission is always to preserve, protect, and promote the great game of golf. Before you tee it up, look us up. Visit gapgolf.org to find out more.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Well, where do you think we are right now as we look at this iconic little clubhouse? Let me give you a clue. It's outside of Wilmington, Delaware. And if you're thinking Bidermann, you are correct. And welcome to Bidermann. Let me introduce you to assistant pro and also a teaching pro on the staff here at Bidermann. I'm talking to Zach Oakley. Good to be with you, Zach.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been a wet sort of spring so far, so it's not enough time maybe for you to get geared up for your next big event, which is going to be down in suburban Dallas. Yeah. You have qualified for the Professional PGA Championship, again, I might add, with a chance, if you finish high enough on the board, to get into the PGA Championship again. So you got a busy schedule coming up.
I do, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We open here April 11th, and a week and a half later, I'll be down in Frisco in the PGA National Club Pro.
Right, and like I said, if you do score well enough there, you get a chance to play at the PGA Championship. This year, it's going to be in Kentucky at Valhalla.
Yeah, Valhalla. Yep. Super excited to have the opportunity to get to go back to another PGA. So just hoping this weather can clear up and I can get out there and get some swings in.
Let me talk a little bit about your background. You're the son of a professional, pretty good local player in Philadelphia, and then he took his game across the pond, and all his father, Pete, did was win the 2004 British Senior Open. That's pretty high-level golf.
Yeah, it was. Super proud of him. He's been a role model of mine for a long time. I was actually in college when he won the Senior British Open, and I actually never got to watch any of it except on tape.
You can YouTube it
now,
right?
And at the time, I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't realize to the level it was being a PGA member to win that major.
Yeah, and especially to do it on foreign territory, so to speak, at Port Rush, not exactly your ordinary golf course.
Yeah.
You're a pretty accomplished player, as I mentioned earlier, in 2021, Player of the Year in the Philadelphia section, won the section championship up in the Scranton area. Lowest scoring average, I think, better, 69.8 or something like that you had. So you can get it low when you want to. And you mentioned the section championship. You came close another time in an event that went into the fourth round. You had 4 holes to play. You were 2 strokes in the lead, and Mother Nature suddenly washed out the round and washed out your chances to winning. Stuff happens, doesn't it?
It happens, It is what it is, but that gave me a lot of motivation in the next year, and even this past September when I won. It was just a freak instance. We thought it was going to rain the whole 3 rounds, and it didn't, and the hurricane decided to start raining 2 holes to go. So it was a big bummer and letdown, but you always learn from unfortunate instances like that, and it only makes you stronger and only makes you more hungry for the next event.
Talking about that, learning from an event, so the next time you're there, you feel a little more comfortable. You're going to be playing in another PGA Professional Championship, chance of going to the PGA Championship overall for a second time in your lifetime. If that happens, will you feel more comfortable going to Valhalla than you did the last time at Southern Hills?
Sure I will. My first experience was, I almost felt like I was in a video game driving up at Southern Hills, and I remember it being, I was thinking this property would just be massive, but it wasn't as big as I thought. But you know, it's like anything. You know, playing your first tournament, starting your first
So
job.
you got a little bit of that been there, done that feeling if it happens again. I want to talk about not actually your golf game, but something else related to golf. For several years, you were a caddy at legendary Seminole in Florida. What was that? First of all, how did you get the gig, and what was it like?
After college, I went down to Florida. I was playing mini tours. And a buddy of mine started working at Seminole just in tournaments, and he got me in for a couple member guests at the end of the year, and I got a call back to come back the following season. And I mean, I hate to admit it, but at the time I didn't really know what Seminole was. You know, I
Just
wasn't
another golf course.
I wasn't a
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a PGA member. I was in the PGA business, and I was just playing. So, but my first foot on the property, I knew something was different about it. Yeah, it was just everybody was, you know, so gracious and so nice. And the first person I met on the property was actually Anthony Belizia, who I work for here at Bidermann, and just the types of influential people that you get to meet, you get to network with, and it was an experience that I'll savor for a long time.
Final question on this: have you gone back as a professional and played and seen some of your old caddy buddies in the caddy shack?
Oh yeah.
Did they greet you? Big hug?
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe this year, Zach, when you have a chance to play all 4 rounds, the PGA Championship in Valhalla, a few of those guys down at the Seminole Caddy Shack. We'll look forward to your next visit.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I had calls the last time, so hopefully I'll get calls again.
I'm sure you will. Zach Oakley, he's got a busy spring. Thank you for having us down here at Bidermann. All right, stay with us. Coming up next here on Inside Golf, it's time to get ready to tee off with our teed off panel. Our Teed Off panel is brought to you by Lulu Country Club. Welcome back. Inside Golf continues with our Teed Off panel from the beautiful Lulu Country Club in Upper Dublin. Joining us today, Harry Mays, he of the podcast Swing It and Ding It. Joe Logan, he writes about golf, especially in the Philadelphia area, on his website, myphillygolf.com. And this young lady is an assistant pro at Tavistock in South Jersey, Haddonfield. This is Bridget McLaughlin, recently named the top assistant professional by the Philadelphia section of the PGA. All right, Bridget, when you're not giving lessons or playing golf, do you have any favorite golf books that you may read or have read, or golf podcasts that you listen to or watch? What is it other than playing the game that keeps you in touch with the game of golf by way of the written word, spoken word, TV, whatever?
So I just finished 2 books over the winter here by Brandon Stewksbury, the Wedge book and the Putter book. So it's a little bit more teaching based, kind of gives you a guideline and a blueprint of how to putt and how to chip. Super easy reads and very enjoyable, kind of solidifying some of those key points.
Is it real technical? Is it something geared to people like you that have a career in golf, or can like somebody like me that just likes the game of golf pick it up and get a lot out of it?
Absolutely. I think it's there for everybody. I think everybody can kind of pick up a nugget of information from that book. It's very easy to read, very simple.
Joe, you've written a lot of books. I should have mentioned Joe is an author and columns. You wrote for the Philly Inquirer and forever as their golf writer. But what do you do when it comes to like reading or keeping up with the game?
I read a lot. I've got a bookcase full of golf books. When it comes to movies, I think you can list all the great golf movies on the fingers of one hand and still have about 4 left. It's only,
Yeah, why is that? Golf
I
hasn't
don't know. They
captured the
can't
silver
make good
screen
golf.
or whatever screen.
It's sad when Caddyshack is both
Oh.
the best and the worst of an entire genre.
Yeah, right.
But
Bill
I like the
Murray,
books.
please.
I'm better at talking about the good books, and I've got a handful of books that I really like. Some of them written by friends of mine, but one of them start would be A Good Walk Spoiled by John Feinstein, about making.
I think you just stole
That was mine.
Oh, yeah?
That's the first one I ever
Actually,
read.
if you ever look at that book in a bookstore, it says, if you only buy one golf book this year, this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia Inquirer. Well, that was me. And he
You-
thanks me.
you
Every time
wrote
I
that?
see John, he thanks me. Another, my friend Michael Bamberger, To the Links Land, great. Tom Coyne, another Philadelphia guy. A Course Called America is a fabulous book. His other first book, of course, called Ireland, is a fabulous book. Jim Dodson wrote The Dew Sweepers, Final Rounds. There's so many terrific, wonderful golf books. I mean, I've got a wall full of them.
Well, like myphillygolf.com. Do you get a lot of hits from people? I mean, it still go to your website, I mean, and you update that regularly with stories?
Yeah, every day or two.
Right. Yeah. All right, Harry, you do a podcast, right? Which 5 years ago, nobody knew how to spell podcast,
Right.
let alone listen or watch them.
Been doing it 3 years, yeah.
What, first of all, how did you get into that? And what's the best thing about doing a golf podcast?
Well, I was in sports radio for many years and was never permitted to talk about anything related to golf. So this gave me an outlet.
Why was that? Because
anything,
it wasn't the Eagles in
right,
the NFL?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
got to
simplify.
You got to play the
Play the
hits.
You got to cut to the chase.
And if you're not talking
Tom
about
Bigby.
the Eagles, why?
In
Why
July,
not?
on a hot afternoon in July.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we can't use this. Okay.
But that's the way it was.
Yeah.
So this gave me an outlet to actually talk about, golf, and I've been doing it now for 3 years. But as far as the books, I mean, you took all mine. John Feinstein, that was the first golf book I ever read, was A Good Walk Spoiled, and it was just brilliant. And it was probably based on your recommendation on the cover. But anything by Tom Coyne, he's terrific because it's about his travels within the game of golf, and it's awesome. And as far as movies, I mean, Tin Cup to me is, I could watch, anytime that's on and I'm flicking around, that's a stick and click, as they say.
Okay. Okay. What was the
Click
one
and
they
stick.
did about Hogan? Remember Glenn Ford, I think, played Hogan
Oh,
after his something about the sun.
Sun, yeah. Oh, God.
That was way back after the accident. And then he
Yes.
won at Murray, and for years that was the staple
That was.
golf movie.
The only one for a long time.
I'm going to do a plug for Inside Golf. That's my favorite TV golf show. I'm sure it is you people too. And if it isn't, nice meeting you. But we have a lot of fun. I've been doing this for 12 years, and I get to meet, I asked you the question, what is it about a podcast doing it that's special? And it's about the people you meet, not just folks on our panel, but, when I go out and interview a player, pro, amateur, or somebody involved in the game of golf, just learning their history, how they got into it, why they love it. There's so many people. I did a recent teed off on the Golf Foundation's numbers. 40% of Americans, 40%, that's like more than 120 million, either play, watch, or read about golf, or go to a simulator room or something like that. It's amazing the impact golf's had. And a lot of times it's fighting those uphill battles like you talked about on things like sports radio, but that's for another show. And my favorite books, one's by a local guy, John Riley, and he's coming out with another one. This was on Porky Oliver, how he played the game. He's coming out with a new one on Billy Hindman. And the other one was a classic, The Match by Mark Frost, who also won the longest day or something about we met, win in the
round
US
that never
Open.
happened, or what was that?
Yeah,
thing?
the greatest match ever or something, whatever. You'd enjoy it, right? Both of them. You have to get those books. But guys, any final words, Joe, on why people are getting more and more into podcasts and books on golf?
Well, with podcasts, I think it's pretty clear. You can pick and choose. In radio, you're a passive listener. You only can listen to what they're putting out. Podcasts, I don't listen to the radio anymore because I listen to podcasts before I go somewhere. I'll download 3, 4, 5 podcasts, things I want to listen to when I want to listen to them. it's the same thing with the websites provide you the ability to do
Bridget,
that.
do you have, when you're giving a lesson, anybody come up and said, hey, I just picked up a really great golf book lately, or anything, any of those
usually
encounters?
it's the YouTube videos.
YouTube videos for lessons, crazy shots.
Yep.
There's a lot of good and bad, Harry, on
you
on
can
YouTube.
get down some rabbit holes in golf on YouTube. Come up a few days later.
Kind of taming those.
Exactly.
Does Swing It and Ding It show up on YouTube
I
at
think
all?
so. Yeah, you can find
No
it.
rabbit holes, though.
Oh, yeah.
Stay away from the rabbit holes, folks. All right, that's a burrowing animal, isn't it? Doesn't golf have a term for rabbit holes? If you hit a ball down there, you get free relief.
I think so.
No, that's a good rule, Joe. That's another show. All right, we'll be back. More of Inside Golf in just a moment.
With so many affordable things to do in Montgomery County, PA, go ahead, freak out.
The J. Wood Platt Caddy Scholarship Trust is the official charitable arm of GAP. The Trust's mission is to financially aid and empower qualified caddies and those working in golf operations in the pursuit of higher education. Over $25 million has been awarded to more than 3,700 caddies. J. Wood Platt's Empower program strengthens scholarship investment dollars by providing our scholars with exceptional benefits. Visit our website, plattscholar.org, to learn more.
That's it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Congratulations and good luck to Zach Oakley. Remember, you can keep up with Inside Golf on YouTube. Every show is archived on YouTube. Just go to Inside Golf TV. I'm Harry Donahue. See you next week here on Inside Golf. The 27th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf, the First Tee of Greater Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, and Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia section of the PGA.